It's easy to look at the futuristic cities of today like Tokyo or Hong Kong and marvel at the advanced technologies and astounding architecture. Nothing beats the marvels of ancient civilizations. Over 5,000 years ago, ancient Egypt flourished with incredible monuments, stories, and artifacts, but most of them were lost over the centuries. Thanks to modern archaeologists, historians, and their hard work, many of these mysterious wonders have been revealed in recent years, giving us a glimpse of the extraordinary culture and civilization that existed in ancient Egypt. And, well, it's happened again, and this time it's the River Nile. Join us as we uncover the recent amazing discovery that has shocked scientists and explore the secrets of one of ancient Egypt's greatest mysteries. But before we get to the discovery, let's take a look at the crazy things scientists have found in Egypt that have caused extreme confusion in the world of science overall. Starting with the discovery of the Khufu solar boat. This is a tale of mystery and perseverance that dates back over 4,500 years. The discovery of the Khufu solar boat was a remarkable find, as it is one of the oldest boats known to date. This ancient cedar vessel belonging to King Pharaoh Khufu dates back to around 2500 BC. When it was unearthed in 1954 by engineer Kamal El Malak, the ship had been broken into thousands of pieces and they were all over the place. Egyptian restorer Ahmed Youssef Mustafa worked tirelessly for 14 years straight to restore the boat, reassembling over 1,200 pieces of cedar wood. Measuring an impressive 143 feet long, scholars have yet to determine what purpose the boat served. There's no particular proof that could be used to figure out why they built it or what they were using it for, so naturally theories started floating around. Some say it was meant to ferry Khufu into the afterlife, while others believe it to have been a seafaring vessel. Regardless of its intended purpose, the Khufu solar boat remains a testament to the ingenuity and perseverance of the ancient Egyptians. But you see, this wasn't the only discovery that still got archaeologists and scientists talking. The discovery of the Rosetta Stone in 196 BC was nothing short of revolutionary. The ancient artifact, consisting of a stele with a decree written in 3 different languages, hieroglyphics, Demotic, and Ancient Greek, sparked an interest in the complexity of ancient Egyptian languages. This wasn't an artifact that was easy to find or decipher either. It actually stayed lost to human civilizations for centuries. It wasn't until 1799 that the stone was properly examined and translated when Napoleon's army discovered it in Rashid. This breakthrough discovery revolutionized the way we understand ancient scripts, as the Rosetta Stone acted as a kind of ancient translator, helping researchers to decipher hieroglyphics, something that hadn't been done in the amount of detail that it did at that point. Considering its importance and influence on our understanding of ancient Egypt, many think of the Rosetta Stone as one of the most essential discoveries of the era, one that still influences the world of science today. The tomb of the Silver Pharaoh is an incredible archaeological discovery that has largely been overlooked in history. In 1939, French archaeologist Pierre Montet uncovered a sarcophagus containing Pharaoh Susens I, one of the lesser-known figures from ancient Egypt. What set this find apart was that his casket was intricately covered in silver, a metal that was far more valuable than gold during this period. Unfortunately, the tomb of the Silver Pharaoh has never received the attention it deserves due to World War II and the immediate discovery of King Tutankhamun's tomb, but more on that in a bit. The importance of the tomb of the Silver Pharaoh cannot be overstated. The tomb contained several artifacts and artifacts that have since been used to shed light on ancient Egypt. Not only did they uncover material that gave a greater insight into the life and reign of Susens I, but they also discovered a wealth of knowledge about daily life in the region during this time period. In the tomb of other pharaohs, these everyday details are often missing, but with the tomb of the Silver Pharaoh, we have a much greater understanding of life in ancient Egypt. The site is also important for its religious significance. It was discovered that Osiris I had been deified after his death and worshipped as a god. This suggests that the Egyptians had a more complicated religious system than what was previously thought, one which included divine reverence for pharaohs after their death. Furthermore, the fact that Osiris I's body was found in silver also indicates its importance in ancient Egyptian culture and is evidence of the wealth and resources available to the elite at that time. The tomb of the silver pharaoh is an invaluable archaeological discovery that both sheds light on ancient Egypt and adds to our understanding of life in that region during this period. While it's already been studied a lot more in recent years, this is one of those Egyptian discoveries that just keeps getting more and more interesting the more research goes into it. Tutankhamun's tomb is a remarkable archaeological site located in the Valley of the Kings, Egypt. For thousands of years, it remained hidden until British Egyptologist Howard Carter discovered it in 1922. Upon entering the tomb, Carter and his research team uncovered an incredible array of artifacts, which have since become iconic symbols of ancient Egyptian civilization. The tomb of Tutankhamun is considered one of the greatest archaeological discoveries of all time. In it, Carter and his team found a treasure trove of artifacts, including chariots, jewelry, weapons, and other items. The most remarkable artifact discovered at the tomb was Tutankhamun's sarcophagus, which was made out of solid gold. Upon opening the lid of the sarcophagus, there were 3 nested coffins inside, an innermost coffin made of solid gold and 2 outer coffins made of gilded wood. Inside the innermost coffin was a perfectly preserved mummy believed to be that of Tutankhamun himself. You'd think that the discovery of his body itself would be crazy, but it's the body that shocked the world too. For years it was assumed that a violent blow to the head was responsible for King Tut's untimely death at age 19. However, more recently, it has been determined that any damage to his mummy's skull occurred post-mortem, whether as part of the embalming process or due to mishandling by Howard Carter's excavation team. So what was the cause of his passing? In 2005, a study revealed that he had suffered a broken leg shortly before death and acquired an infection from it. One possible explanation for this is that he could have been thrown from his chariot during one of his hunts. DNA testing done in 2010 also found signs of malaria, which may have either triggered the leg injury or worsened it. But some still hypothesize that he was killed by a hippopotamus bite, or maybe it was murder after all. But simply, the fact that the tomb was even found the way it was, and in the condition it was, makes for one of the most intriguing discoveries of all time. You'd think one mummy would shake the world, but then came a massive blow to the world of science. For decades it was thought that all of Egypt's mummies were safely stored away in the Egyptian Museum of Cairo, but in 1996 a team of German archaeologists made a remarkable discovery: the Valley of the Golden Mummies. The Valley of the Golden Mummies is an incredible archaeological discovery located in Egypt's Bahariya oasis in the Western Desert. It was first discovered by Egyptologist Ahmed Fakhri and contains around 10,000 mummies, each incredibly well preserved. These belong to a Roman settlement from the area, and many still bear their original treasures such as amulets, golden masks, coins, and pottery. This remarkable find is an example of the unique history that lies beneath Egypt's sands, and one that has remained untouched for centuries until its discovery. It is thought that the mummies were buried in that area away from all other civilizations to deter tomb robbers. Those that would try to get in on the treasures that the elite was buried with would do anything to get in. So the fact that the elite just came up with a totally unique way to just avoid the whole ordeal altogether is crazy. The Valley of the Golden Mummies provides a fascinating insight into a culture long forgotten and gives us access to invaluable artifacts that were once part of the daily life of this ancient civilization. The discovery is a lasting reminder of the importance of preserving historical artifacts and sites, something that archaeology has aimed to do for centuries. It will continue to fascinate scholars for many years to come. No matter what was going on in Egypt throughout time though, if there's been one constant, it's been the River Nile. But it seems like that might not be the case for too long. There was a time when the Nile River and Delta were sources of Egypt's wealth and greatness, but now these areas are facing an onslaught from both land and sea. To make matters worse, a new dam is to be completed on the headwaters of the Blue Nile this year. The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, GERD, will generate 6,000 megawatts of power, providing electricity to many Ethiopians who currently do not have access. This huge project is largely self-financing and could bring in $1 billion of much-needed foreign exchange revenue annually. Unfortunately, this dam could have a devastating effect on the Nile River Delta by reducing the supply of water, threatening the livelihoods of up to 45 or 50 million Egyptians who rely on the area for their daily needs. This environmental mismanagement could have catastrophic consequences and potentially place Egypt in a national crisis. But with the River Nile drying up came another shocking discovery: the tomb of the Egyptian god Osiris. While we've already glossed over a few tombs and burial artifacts, this is unlike anything else. You see, Osiris was the god of life and death in ancient Egyptian mythology. He was considered to be the ruler of the underworld and the judge of the dead. Osiris is often depicted as a mummified king wearing a crown and holding a crook or staff. That's one of the things that makes the discovery of the tomb of Osiris so shocking. It's particularly remarkable as it dates back to either the 25th or 26th dynasty of Egypt, nearly 3,000 years ago. According to ancient Egyptian religion, Osiris was the son of Geb and Nut, born with 4 other siblings: Horus, Set, Nephthisius, and Isis, his wife. He is credited with introducing early Egyptians to the cultivation of grain and ending the practice of cannibalism. Set hated his brother and contrived to murder him by inviting him to a party and tricking him into getting inside a specially made coffin that was then sealed. This coffin was floated down the Nile, with Isis left to take care of their sons, Horus the younger. Upon finding his body in Byblos, Isis brought it back to Egypt and set out to revive him. Through her magical powers and the help of Thoth, Osiris was resurrected as the god of the underworld, who judged the dead in his Hall of Two Truths. The story of Osiris gave Egyptians hope for a positive afterlife and provided an opportunity to identify with the god by following his funerary practices. His death and resurrection were celebrated annually at feasts called the Mysteries of Osiris. Osiris was a vital part of ancient Egyptian culture, and his influence is still felt today. The tomb was found in one of Egypt's oldest cities, Abydos, and was built to house the highest-ranking officials from Egypt's New Kingdom period: priests, nobility, and other members of the elite. It is said to have been modelled on descriptions of Osiris's tomb in ancient Egyptian legend, which featured a large staircase leading down to its entrance and a statue of Osiris himself. Surrounding the statue, archaeologists discovered an empty corridor, thought to represent a channel of water, and underneath it, they believe there may be a burial chamber. This has led them to the conclusion that this tomb was built as a tribute to Osiris and served as a reminder of his resurrection story. But you see, there's no body in this tomb. Could the resurrection not be a one-time thing? Did Osiris really come back from the dead? Was the Nile just holding another secret this entire time? We might just have to give the scientists working on this discovery a little longer to find out the details. But if the Khufu solar boat, the other major tombs, and the entire Valley of Mummies are any examples, we should be prepared for the possibility that this might just end up being another question that may never be answered. But if it is, you'll hear it here first. And on that note, we'll close out today's video. What do you think about the terrifying discoveries from Egypt? Let us know which ones got you worried in the comments below. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos just like this. We'll see you in the next one.